Hey gang, it's me, your Uncle Todd. Sorry I'm a little late getting this episode up, but it's been a busy week. Well, as for my description, are you ready for the wokest episode of the Orville yet? Boy, this is when it's bound to piss off a lot of people on one side of this argument. But before we get into that, the episode opens with a bit of a humorous Indiana Jones-ish homage, with the crew doing some excavating on a archaeological site, and they have to deactivate some booby traps, which basically comes to activating the booby trap and then letting Isaac just take all the stuff that gets thrown at him. And after some interesting descriptions of a ancient society that's no longer there, we get into the actual plot, which is the son of Clyden and Bortus, who was a Mochlan. And if you are a regular follower of the show, Mochlans are an all-male society. But if someone is born female, they will then have them surgically altered to be male. And their son, Topal, is wanting to become a member of the Union by going to the academy and becoming an officer and all that. And is following Commander Grayson around as she graciously allows him to see some of the other things that happen in the Union that just aren't going to be covered on the actual text. You get a better feel of what actually it is like. A lot of boring, mundane stuff. And during this, he tells Commander Grayson he doesn't feel like he belongs anywhere. He feels like there's something missing in him. And not sure how to handle this. She talks to Topal's parents. And Clyden, who himself had been born female and was converted, is all for just not telling him. Cannot know. It would cause despair in him the way it causes it in Clyden. And Bortus, who, if we remember from the first season, had been wanting to keep Topa the gender they were born as, or I should say the sex they were born as. Must be precise on terms. He is for letting Topa know that Topa has a right to know. So leads to a lot of arguments, and Clyden forbids Topa from continuing his educational tours with the commander. Not sure what to do, and after he starts asking questions of Isaac about what it was like when he was deactivated and how he felt when he was brought back, Commander Grayson, in a bit of a sneaky move, tells him to look up some recipes for the favorite Mochlan dessert. There are many in the database, knowing he'll come upon a file about his origins. But he can't access it because he doesn't have the password when he sent the password. And after reading the file, confronts his parents. Bortus admits it. Clyden is mad at Bortus for this. And he wants Topa to just accept what he is after the surgery. Topa doesn't want to, and goes and talks to the doctor, and then talks to Commander Grayson, and decides she is a female and would like surgery to reflect that, which causes another argument. Clyden is against it. Bortus is for it, but even though union regulations stipulate that only one parent has to be for such a thing. This is a political issue. And because they need Mochlan as an ally in the fight against the Kalons, the Union forbids any Union officer to perform this surgery, which puts Topal in despair. And this is where ideas for a workaround come about. And the doctor is quite willing to give up her commission and perform the operation. But Isaac, who's a Kalon and not a commissioned officer in the Union, he technically is not a part of the Union at all, wants to perform the operation. He just needs the procedure downloaded, and he'll be able to do it. But in order to do that, no one can be aware of it on the ship. They can have no knowledge. So, a diversion is needed. And this is where the actor playing Bortus gets to show off his amazing baritone singing voice as he gives a concert for the entire crew. And of course it succeeds, and this causes a fallout between Bortus and Clytus, as it would, and maybe an irreparable one. And of course, the captain and the first officer are reprimanded by the admiral, but there are to be no repercussions because since it was a Kalon that did the actual surgery, Mochlan will stay with the Union, and they are even more determined to defeat the Kalons. And Topal, for the first time in an episode, smiles and is happy. There's not very much action, although there are a couple of minor skirmishes. Clyden attacks the commander, and she mops the floor with him, which is embarrassing because she's a woman. But she's a trained combatant, and he's not. And there is a battle between Clyden and Isaac when he tries to stop the operation. But Isaac, being a Kalon, is much stronger and faster than him, so he loses that one too. They have pushed Clyden as a villain in this, but he's not a total black hat. No mustache twirling on his part. You understand where he's coming from. He's a traditionalist, and he's had the procedure done that was done to his son, and his whole identity is wrapped up in that. And you understand where Bortus comes from. He just wants his child to be happy, and says to Topal after Clyden storms out and says he wished Topal had never been born, that Bortus feels Topal is perfect just the way she is. So yeah, there are going to be a lot of people on one side of that argument really upset with the Orville and Seth MacFarlane. And all I can say is, it's Seth MacFarlane. You should have known this was going to come up eventually. All the way back in the first season episode when they had a court case to decide Topal's fate. And if you're that upset, don't watch the show. Why are you even watching it in the first place? It's Seth MacFarlane. If you've ever seen an episode of Family Guy, you know what you're going to get here, only in a more serious tone than on Family Guy, which was a satire. all in all, I thought it was a very good episode, very emotional. It'll bring tears to your eyes. Tears of sorrow, tears of happiness. And yeah, I'm woke. And if that's a problem, that's life. We're all different. And there's nothing more to be said on that. Well, that's all I have to say for this episode. Please hit like, share, and subscribe. And hopefully I will get the first episode of the second half of Stranger Things out later this week.